What if I told you that one of the most accurate descriptions of a trader's psychological struggles, well, it isn't in some modern trading book. It's actually in an ancient text from thousands of years ago. Today, we're going to dive into the book of Judges, of all places, to uncover this really powerful pattern that might just explain the destructive cycles you're seeing in your own trading.
You ever have this feeling that you're just trapped in a loop? You know the one. You have a great week, maybe two, you're following your rules, the account's growing, and then, boom, somehow you end up right back where you started, staring at a big loss, and just wondering, how did this happen? Again. It feels like you're stuck on a hamster wheel you just can't get off of.
And this is the sequence, right? It's almost clockwork. You win, and that feels good. The wins build up your confidence. But then that confidence slowly starts to turn into overconfidence. And you start to bend a rule, just this once. Then you break one completely. And that one broken rule, that's all it takes. It leads to a massive, discipline-destroying loss that just wipes out weeks of your hard work. It's so frustrating, and it's way more common than you think.
Now, here's what's so wild about this. This isn't just your pattern. It's a timeless human pattern, and it's laid out perfectly in the book of Judges. It's actually called the Judges cycle, and it describes this exact sequence. Discipline leads to success, which leads to overconfidence and compromise. Then you face the consequences, and then you're rescued by going back to discipline. Seeing your struggle not as some unique personal flaw, but as a predictable, ancient pattern, that is the absolute first step to finally breaking it.
Okay, so let's really get into the nuts and bolts here. The real tragedy of this whole cycle isn't that it happens to you once. It's that we let it happen over and over and over again, usually just because we don't even recognize the pattern while we're in it. So here are the 4 stages, laid out plain and simple. Step 1, it all starts with discipline, and that leads to profit. But then, step 2, that profit breeds overconfidence, which always leads to rule bending. Which brings us to step 3, a major violation of your system and a significant, painful loss. And finally, step 4, desperation. That desperation forces you back to discipline, and you start the rebuilding process, only to begin the cycle all over again. The real key here is to look at this and ask yourself, which one of these stages are you in right now?
So you gotta be asking why. Why does this cycle have such a grip on us? Well, the source material gives us a pretty fascinating answer. It's because of what it calls our unconquered territories. All those parts of our trading we know we should fix, but we just leave half finished. Come on, do any of these sound familiar? That trading journal you were so good about for, 2 weeks? Then you just stopped. Or that backtest you started on a new strategy but never actually finished. Or, my favorite, that hard risk rule that you only enforce most of the time. We all have these. These little half-finished projects, they seem harmless, but they are the hidden weak points, the cracks in our armor. And this right here is the gut punch. The source puts it so powerfully. These little incomplete tasks, these unenforced rules, they become the thorns in our side that cause the big, painful losses down the road. They're the direct result of the important work we decided not to finish yesterday.
All right, so how do we actually break the cycle? It has to start with an internal shift. We have to stop leading our trading from a place of crisis and desperation and start leading from a place of deep, unwavering conviction, a mindset inspired by one of the judges, a woman named Deborah.
Now look at this, because this contrast is everything. On one side, you've got the barrack trader. This is the trader who needs someone else to tell them it's okay. They need that signal service or the trading guru or a mentor to validate their idea before they'll act. Essentially, they're transferring ownership of the trade to someone else. But then you have the Deborah trader. This trader operates from their own deep analysis. They've done the work, they have an internal conviction, and because of that, they own every single outcome, win or lose.
And this is the question you really have to sit with. When you click that button, when you pull the trigger, are you doing it because your system and your own analysis have given you clarity, or are you just borrowing certainty from some outside source? Seriously, the answer to that question reveals pretty much everything.
So once we find that internal conviction, we need one more piece of the puzzle. We need an external, non-negotiable standard. Because the book of Judges shows us exactly what happens when there's no final authority, no ultimate standard to appeal to, pure chaos. This line right here, it's the final, devastating verdict of the entire book. It's repeated twice for emphasis. With no king, no standard, everybody just did whatever felt right to them in the moment. And the result of that wasn't freedom, it was complete and utter disaster. And this maps one-to-one with trading, doesn't it? A trader without a firm, written set of rules is a trader who does what is right in their own eyes in the heat of a trade. And that's not freedom. That is the fastest way I know to blow up your account. It means your emotions are in charge, not your strategy.
So the solution becomes crystal clear, and it's powerful. To end this cycle of chaos, your trading has to have an authority that is higher than your feelings in the moment. Your trading needs a king.
So what is this king? It's your system. But I'm not talking about the vague ideas floating around in your head. I'm talking about your written, detailed, and 100% non-negotiable trading plan. It's the standard that you choose to submit to, especially when your emotions are screaming at you to do the exact opposite. It has to be the final authority. And that brings us to the end, right here, with this choice. Now that you've seen the cycle, you've seen the unconquered territories, and you know the path to conviction, what are you going to do? Are you going to go into your next trading session just doing what feels right in the moment and just continue that cycle of chaos? Or are you going to finally commit to a standard, submit to your system, and crown the king?